How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another XRP update. It has been a while, but if you remember the last XRP video a few weeks back, I was talking about a move up like this. So we've actually now, in the last couple of days, broken through the moving averages exactly as I was anticipating off of this low. We were getting really close to a macro breakdown. If you've been following the channel long enough, I've been bearish since actually this bullish pattern because I was thinking that the pattern's target would just take it back to where it was, and there's no expectation beyond that point through the pattern. So the target would just be back up to here. And my Fibonacci's were saying the whole time that I need to remain bearish even with a move up into there, because I need to personally see the 886 $3.15 broken. And in my last video, we added this trend line, extended it into the future, and can see this is lining up nicely with the 886 now. Unfortunately, that could mean the move up that has protected this macro head and shoulders from continuing lower could just be retesting that to eventually continue lower. So could have gone down from here is what I'm saying, but could it be that it's putting a false move higher to continue low, like an A, B, C, a more macro one? Of course, no one truly knows. But while under the 886, the possibility of that move down is there. As soon as the 886, the neckline of the head and shoulders, $3.15 is reclaimed, I'll be the most bullish here because that changes my expectations and bias. I'll be led to believe that the prices of $4 to $6.50 could well be seen once that $3.15 level is broken. Until then, even now, just like I was calling in the previous video for a move that breaks through the moving averages, flips it into support, and pumps up into 315, all of that would still be seen as corrective, even though we've reset the trend by maintaining the 200 EMA. You've had somewhat of a loss and reclaim. So just showing that the average of the last 200 days was maintained. We keep maintaining the long-term trend as bullish, but we need to build upon that. It needs to develop and, of course, sustain. It's only going to sustain if that level is broken. So I maintain cautious while underneath. Of course, that might sound annoying. Why? Because you could be missing out on the earliest prices down here if with hindsight you look back and know that this was the bottom and we did break the 886. But yeah, hindsight is a hell of a drug. We don't have that right now. And while we're living through it, there are many examples in Bitcoin's history. If I were to go back to just any chart in general, but Bitcoin being the leader of the market, you'd think, okay, it's got less manipulation than the rest. But that is not the case. You can see it move from a bottom, recovering all the moving averages, looking like it's about to make a new all-time high, but after reaching the level we needed to reach, it didn't follow by doing what we needed to see. So yeah, a great step in getting to the 886, but no, it needs to flip it into support, and we don't have any clear signs of that, just a rejection of resistance. And once again, we're recovering the moving averages, we're forming these bullish crosses. Everything suggesting my buy should be bullish, but the 886 is what stood in this way. The 886 is what sent it to new lower lows. So this is why we need to be cautious, especially while we're in a range. Once again, saw this dump, recovering the 200 EMA, very similar to XRP. There was a slight loss and recovery, but then there was a move up into the 886. Each step being followed to put it in the right direction, the bullish direction, to give us the bullish bias, recovering the moving averages, creating bullish crosses, actually maintaining them as support, gets to that final hurdle, fails to flip in support, confirmed as resistance, new lower low. Now, don't get me wrong, at some point, because Bitcoin will forever go up against the dollar, it will drag alt to go up against the dollar. Not against Bitcoin long term, but against the dollar, they should continue going up. And so at some point, Bitcoin will create the reversal wave by breaking the 886. This will allow coins like XRP to also break their 886. But do you now understand after today's video why personally I will remain cautious while under this level? It's just because I've shown you 3 examples that happened over the past year where it seemed like a bottom was in, a month at least passed, with a move from the bottom to the 886, gets to the 886 and rejects, doesn't actually flip it into support, and then puts in a new lower low. So of course, I don't want you getting caught up buying high and then we actually go sub $1.60. Now, there's no guarantee also that what I've just shown you is going to keep happening. So what I'm doing with my own strategy, the Discord knows, but I've shared it a few times here, is I'm only going to be touching what I know is going to always go up against dollars no matter what, which is Bitcoin. And yes, alts should do so as well, but they will not be going up over time, long term, against Bitcoin itself. So in these uncertain periods, for me, there's only one answer. And when I see the characteristic and structural changes, when I see the 886 recovered, then I will, of course, be risk on. But until there, in this times of uncertainty, I don't want to get back in, be part of the top and get dumped on once again. So my point is that I'll remain cautious with this move up into the 886 because it should actually get rejected. What we can do from that point is hope for a higher low, maybe around this region, and then build up once again. But of course, with any rejection from this area, even if you bounce it, there's the risk of a lower high, then a lower low. So we're just not in the clear yet. And if you want the optimal trading conditions where you want to get in and out, and it's going to be highly likely profitable, then wait for that moment. If you want to get in on the earliest prices, get as many tokens as possible, then you have to take the risk of getting in down over here. With the risk it could pump up into the resistance and head down into new low lows. So everyone's strategy will be different. If you want to hear more about my own, consider the education plans that you see at the bottom. The links can be found down below. And I've adjusted the pricing to the mentorship for it to be more affordable for those that want to get educated. Cheers, everyone.